Today we're going to talk about the book of Leviticus. There's two verses in this book in the debate about homosexual relationships that many Christians will say these two verses condemn such homosexual relationships. The first one being Leviticus 18:22. Thou shalt not lie with mankind as with womankind. It is an abomination. In 20:13, which says, if a man also lie with mankind as he lieth with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood be upon them. Now, as with any of the verses in the Bible, we really have to take a look at what was going on in this time frame. Compassion for others is a fundamental cornerstone of the Christian ethics. The Bible is the bedrock of the Christian faith, and God does not expect us to choose between compassion and faith in the Bible. And reconciling the Bible does not require us to deconstruct it, recast parts of it, discount parts of it. All it takes is reading these passages of the Bible with the same care that we read any other passage of the Bible. In Leviticus, there's 3 verses that specifically tell us that the rules are meant to prevent Israelites from doing what the Egyptians and the Canaanites did. Leviticus 18:3 specifically, you must not do as they do in Egypt, where you used to live, and you must not do as they do in the land of Canaan, where I am bringing you. Do not follow their practices. So something obviously is going on, and the rules that are set forth in Leviticus by God to the Israelites are directly told to prevent the Israelites from committing the sins that were going on in Egypt and Canaan. Biblical historians tell us the Canaanite religion surrounding the Israelites at the time that Leviticus was written often included fertility rites consisting of sexual rituals. And these rituals were thought to bring the blessing of the god or goddess on crop and livestock production. Consider one specific example. Historians tell us that many Canaanites and Egyptians worshipped a goddess of love and fertility called Ishtar. Within her temples were special priests called Asanu, who were deemed to have special powers, and physical contact with the Asanu was believed to ward off evil. Sexual intercourse was considered especially effective for gaining the goddess's favor, because the male worshipper was offering his greatest possession, semen, to the goddess through her priests. So this wasn't a loving homosexual relationship. This was a worshipper believing that if he had anal sex with the priest, that he was offering that semen through the body of the priest to the goddess. Depositing semen in the body of a priest of the goddess was believed to guarantee one's immortality. And this is what was going on in Canaan and Egypt at the time that the Levitical rules were announced. Homosexual temple prostitution. And Leviticus 18 and 20 specifically say they were written to address Egyptian and Canaanite religious practices. It is simply not reasonable to believe that the author of Leviticus was intending to prohibit a form of homosexual relationship that wasn't taking place at the time. When read in textual and historical context, the prohibitions of Leviticus 18 and 20 are clearly directed at homosexual temple prostitution, and that is how they should be applied. Some people will object and say, but if you ignore the context and just read the words in black and white, they appear to prohibit all sex between men, not just sex and rituals. But that is the whole point. The meaning of the words depends on context. A text taken out of context is pretext. Let's apply the same common sense rules here.